Venom, There Be Carnage is a sequel superhero film to the 2018 project, and this time it's directed by Lord of the Rings and Planet of the Apes legend Andy Serkis. This is the follow-up movie with Tom Hardy once again starring the titular role, and this time around we've got Michelle Williams, Naomi Harris, Reed Scott, Stephen Graham, Peggy Lou, and of course Woody Harrelson as the one and only villain role of Carnage. Venom 2 begins with a young Cletus Cassidy becoming tormented as his love, Frances Barrison, is taken from an orphanage to a prison facility for her sonic scream powers. A police officer named Patrick Mulligan shoots her in the eye, and unbeknownst to him, she survives and is secured in the institution to suppress her abilities. In present day, Eddie Brock is contacted by the same officer to interview Cassidy, who's killed many people up until this point in time. Eddie and Venom are still becoming cohesive and managing one another, and soon enough they have to deal with a bigger issue as Cassidy ingests a symbiote and becomes the malignant Carnage. So it's better than the first one, which is not saying a lot considering I think I gave that like a 2 or 3 out of 10 at best. Nonetheless, it's still an improvement. I think the biggest problem with Venom 2 is it's trying to cover so much so quickly and with a lackluster imagination behind the wheel to explore things. The first Venom was way all over the place tonally. It couldn't decide where it wants to be a silly movie, super serious and menacing, or a mindless, action-packed flick. It was all jumbled up, and the turnout was a boring superhero movie that felt like it could have been dropped in the early 2000s. At least this time around in Venom 2, Andy Serkis seems like he understood which route to endeavor, and he chose to stylize the majority movie with a frisk, high-spirited and humorous tone. And that benefits the movie a lot, actually, because Tom Hardy and Venom's banters appropriately supplement that undertaking. It's a step in the right direction. Hardy is also much more likable here as well. I thought he played a rather mediocre role last time, and that may have been in part due to the reshoots or the lack of vision from director Ruben Fleischer. I don't know, but here he seems to have a better appreciation of Eddie Brock's character and his internal conflicts with the symbiote. So again, a refinement on the protagonist role, as well as an improvement on Venom's dialogue, who this time around had some solid, snippy, or snarky rhetorical comments to just toss out. The story, however, is very, very underwhelming, truthfully. The majority of the first 45 minutes is Tom wrestling with Venom and just day-to-day activities up until we get to Cletus's lethal injection exile. Once he breaks out and becomes Carnage, it's just a 30-minute mayhem battle for Cletus to rescue his girlfriend and get married. That's really it. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing bigger going on here. And even though I think it was intentional on Serkis' end to make this project short and concise, it ultimately leaves you wondering if this is the best the writing team could have come up with. I will say this though, Woody Harrelson as Carnage, he's a delight. He's obviously having a blast with his character and his monster portrayal. He understands the assignment and gives a wonderful, albeit short-lived performance. Carnage and Venom's special effects are also magnificent here. The special effects team deserve high praise for Venom's revamped design, Carnage's red differentiation, and for their battles looking seamless and entertaining. Two little but strong highlights as well. I really enjoyed Carnage's scream. It's powerful, it's malevolent, it's just superb. Huge shout out to the sound design team on that one. I also loved Carnage's breakout scene from the injection room. It really reminded me of Vader's hallway scene in Rogue One. I swear everything in this one single scene was damn near perfect, from the pitch black lighting to the sudden eerie quietness. Even my theater didn't make a single sound during that scene, and it became clear that this is the turning point of the story. It was just great. One of the best reveals of the year, but it's not enough to save this movie. Venom 2's biggest drawbacks is its screenplay. It screams a lack of creativity, and like I mentioned early on, there's so much going on. You've got Tom and Venom's bickering, Tom trying to live a normal life, Venom trying to live normally, aka getting his hands on some people to eat. You've got Tom's love life, the police officer's survival, Woody's escape, the screaming girlfriend's rescue, the new symbiote's game plan. Everything that I just said is happening at the exact same time. There's no room to breathe. It's really suffocating, and you end up detracting character development from Eddie Brock or Cletus and Carnage because even they got overshadowed sometimes by other characters' moments. Then you've got an almost blatant copy of the Amazing Spider-Man 2's Clockwork battle scene. That was a huge parallelism, or plagiarism, I should say, of sorts. A lot of the movie just reeks of dispassionateness and wanting to satisfy the fans of the first movie, whoever those 12 people could be. Look, here's what it's fundamentally about Venom 2. It's not trying to be different. It's not trying to be unconventional. It's like it's following an arbitrary checklist of what a Venom movie ought to have, and as long as it makes sense for the story, it's in there. Like, here we have Venom, check. A villain for him to fight, check. The lead struggles with the symbiote, check. Lead woman character for the lead man to rescue, check. A final showdown, check. Some underlying reason for the villain to go after the main guy, check. It's all there. It's just executed with the most average of strokes. An anti-hero like Venom needs to be let loose and go wild. Just give them an R rating approval and watch the fireworks happen. So with everything said, I give Venom 2 an optimistic 4.5. If you're a fan of the Spider-Man franchises, go ahead and check this one out. You ought to at least enjoy the action sequences. And as well, that post-credits scene, which, woo, all of us are going to be eating so good in December. Until next time, guys.